Hello everyone, welcome for this session. Topic is communication styles of a leader, right? So how a leader should communicate, what are the things, what kind of a behaviors is really important, what kind of environment is really important. Generally, leaders are creating the environment, right? So, and if you are part of any organizations where you feels your leaders are not up to the mark and you are facing the challenges, so how you can work on those particular environments, and there are certain situations where even you can't do this. So in that solutions, we also have always one solution that you can also implement, right? So now we will talk about, before going into this, I just want to understand what is your experience till now on this term of leadership, like how you see a people as a leader. Who is a leader according to you?
Who leads by examples, who is not bossy, who helps us, who motivates us. Yeah.
Is it true, like, is like a leader should not be a boss, like the bossy nature? Is it always true, or is it always possible to be so kind, like to not be have any even single instance where you can be look like a bossy? Like if a person is at like once in a 10 times, if he you feels if he's a bossy, so according to you, is he or she qualify as a leader or not?
He has to get things done. So, how the way that he choose his leadership style, that might be the one that is required of him. So,
Okay,
at times, like
let's talk about two different kind of a leaders, the good leader and the bad leader, right? And then we'll talk about some examples, and then we will see how we can become a leader, and if we are learning this or if we are playing the role of a leader, so what are the qualities we have to be understand and we have to be bring in ourselves, right? So first thing is, can you give any examples of the bad leaders? When I say the examples, I mean any certain situations or any scenarios in your past, or if you read somewhere, if you heard somewhere, or if some of your colleagues shared, or even you face something. What is the example of the bad leader?
um, in the recent organization that I was working for some 3 months, we were like scrum masters, and there was one project manager. He assumed himself like the lead, and he has to drive it. But the way that he drives, he was hurting all of us. We were all more experienced. It's not that we were more experienced, but there should be that respect, and you should know to get things done. And it was even the whole team, like we were around 60 people, four different projects under him. They did not like the way that he was speaking. Like, so it was not influential. And when some of the leaders ask, because they ask, we love to do, we want to get name from them and good name from them. And projects it to the HR. Even it is like a carrot and stick method, like he was using the stick in the way that he was speaking. So that was very I felt that was a very bad leadership. He has to be prone to be a manager, people leader, to get things done. Yeah.
Any
But he was
examples?
having a good client relationship.
At least leaders should understand the team's perspective first. If some another team is pointing out to the team, he or she should not come to the team, or he or she should not scold the team in front of other team members. At least in front of them, they can take up a stand, and later on in a team meeting or a conference room, you can tell them this was your mistake. You can try improving, so that at least in front of more audience, people will not feel ashamed of themselves. At least if they are having something wrong in them, they will try to improve. But if you scold in front of all the audience like a kid, if you keep on scolding, they'll become stubborn. Then they will not listen to you.
Okay, I will
And
tell
that
you,
will
like,
be a very
yeah,
bad example of your leadership.
yes. I will tell you the exact real examples, right? Okay. And that even I also, I talked to one of my trainees, and then he shared the same thing. Like, so he's working in one of the organizations where they are following a strict timeline of 9 to 5. Okay. A day, one day he reached at 9:15. Okay. He reached at 9:15 to the office. And the moment at 9:15 he reached at his desk, his boss was standing on his desk and just pointing out the watch. And then he asks, "Do you know you're late by 15 minutes?" And then this employee says, "Yeah, I know. Did I miss anything?" So the leader says, we are following a policy where everyone's supposed to be in office at 9 and you cannot leave before 5. And you are 15 minutes late. Now, so this employee, before going to what he did is a day before he checked his calendars, he make sure tomorrow I will be reached at 9:15 and 9:30, but I will not miss anything. There should not be any meetings. There should not be anyone who's waiting for me at 9 o'clock, right? So, but still, his boss is pointing out because he's late by 15 minutes. And then his boss says, "Do you know these kind of attitudes are really hampering the organization policies and the organization environment? You should be at office at 9 o'clock." What this employee did, he resigned from that organization. Now, from resignation, he still have to follow the policies. He still have to follow the 30 days of notice period. Now, what this employee is doing, he's coming at the office at 8:15. He stay till 5 o'clock. What he was doing, he was watching movie marathons from morning 8:15 to till evening 5 p.m. He watched back-to-back movies. He complete all the Spider-Man series, Lord of the Rings series, the extended one, Star Wars. And then he had an exit interview with the same manager. And what the manager says, "I really like your behavior, the way you follow the company policies, because you came 45 minutes early and you are leaving after 5 o'clock. Now you're setting a very good example to the colleagues, to the others." Right? So what we learn from this? See, we have a policies, we know we have to follow the policies. But the more important part is, what is our contribution during the 9 to 5? If you're coming at 8, you're leaving at 5, you're watching movie from morning to evening, you're not doing any single shit. Is this what the company is expecting from the employees? No, right? But these kind of leaders, these kind of a boss, they are saying you are really setting an example because you are following the company policies. So as a leader, you should not be, and I'm not denying you should not follow the company policies. We should also follow the company policies. But if there are some certain situations, certain scenarios where you are late, make sure it will not hamper or it will not block someone else. Right? So this is the example of the bad leadership, which we shouldn't do it. Now, can anyone share any example of the good leadership? What is the good leadership? Or the expected from a leader, which qualifies a boss as a leader? Any examples? Anyone? Experience? Any experience which you want to?
Experience was always bad, so it didn't
If
but yeah.
if you have years of experience, then definitely you have a good experience as well, right? Not each and every manager have the same kind of attitude. So any good experience from the past, or it's not necessary your experience, because we are meeting with the people, with the colleagues, with our friend circles, and it's not specific to the IT company, right? Experience we can heard from our family members, our parents, because they all are working, right? So can you share any of the experience, any good leadership experience which you say, okay, this is the one which I really like and I want to become a leader like this?
If I could share something.
Yes.
The way the example that you mentioned, where one of the team member following the policies, the same happened recently, where one of our new joinee who is joined as an intern to our team is doing all these things. But right now, I'm not in the position to look micromanage or look into what things are. My only focus is whether he's learning, whether he's willing to learn something from here or not. So many people pointed out that this is what he's doing around, that he's wasting time. He will, he'll come in time, he'll go well in time, following all the time schedule. But this is how it is happening. So within a week's time, again, his tasks were, meaning, again, things were set for him because we saw he's not self-learning. So, knowing that we have some responsibilities towards him, again, the team, what do you say, the team took an effort where we scheduled things for him. In a way, we set up the tasks again, had a different, what do you say, a lead, now following him up with his other team members, scheduled slots and all. While now that has been that is set for him, and he's following. Now my duty comes that I cannot even spare a word around him because I do not have that much time. We have our things to already in place. So I just told him, now this is the schedule you have to follow, and make sure you are completing all this within a month's time, whatever it is assigned to you. I hope, no, meaning that will let your performance, either you will learn from it, nothing to lose. Even we are, what do you say, even we will be happy to provide you how much ever we can, but it's up to you how you take it up and complete the tasks. So end of the day, he is learning, and even we are satisfied that we are providing. Now things are up and he's following. Now what gave me good satisfaction, I mean, as a leader, I found out that the other people around him were time to time telling him, man, why are you wasting your time? This is the time we should be utilizing. Don't no, misuse your time. You should reach out to your team if you have no, if you see the team or your manager is around, or the we as a team are around you, you should seek it as an positive, keep a positive attitude and try to approach people, be try to involve yourself. So that is when I heard from different people that when I'm not speaking, there are people under my leadership who had taken that stand and told him that don't do this, do this, this is how you should do, and that's how you should do. So that brought a great meaning. I felt good. Okay, now if I'm not around, even what do you say, that integrity matters. That even if I'm turning back to certain things, but my team is taking care of it, even if I haven't told them. So these things uh, has helped, meaning now we see that okay, he's following things, he's doing, and they call it, right, Gen Z. This is a kind of one person who comes from the Gen Z, who has all this no, playing games, videos, given time, putting the earpods, he won't even listen. Now if people are around him, that's not done. But we can't take, we are not here to teach him. He should self learn, right? We cannot spoon feed someone something. So but the team is taking care of it time to time. So and it's helping him as well, given his task. End of the day, whatever outcome comes, at least we are not held responsible, I can say, meaning after a month's time it will be clear either he is performing or he is not. We are doing whatever we can. That way we need not justify someone, it will be justified by itself. So this approach has really helped us, is helping us, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great example. We will also talk about, like, as a leader, what kind of a style is really required in these kind of a scenarios, right? And is it really required to do these kind of a micromanagement, or what we can do as a leader in these particular situations what kind of a conversations we should do with these kind of a people, right? Because see, they're graduates. They never worked in
Yes,
uh,
they are new.
any corporate world, right? And they don't know how the corporate runs. So
Yes.
for them, everything is new. Now,
Yes.
the first thing is we can't expect them to
Right.
behave. Everyone should behave as how we are doing. But what we should do, how we should coach them, what kind of mentorship they require, right? We will talk about all of these things in today's sessions. Any other good examples of the leadership which you experienced?
Chetan, how about your experience being a leader of your team? How do you treat your team and how they give feedback to you?
I mean, I can share that example as well, and I think that's the one which where even I learned as a leader when I was working with it's I think 2019 story when I joined one of the organizations where I got an opportunity to work with a team. This is central architect team where they have most like everyone is 45 or 50 years old, and at that time I was I think only 27 or 28 years old. I was only having like 7 6 7 years of experience, and they all have like 20 plus years of experience. So I got an opportunity to work as a scrum master with the team. Right now, when you have these kind of situations, you can't be moved into the mentorship role. You can't be moved into the role where you can guide those people, right? But how you should deal, what kind of a behavior is required. So when I get an opportunity to work with this conversation with one of the senior guy, I just told one thing: you're having the experience more than what I have, right? You know your job very well, even better than me. So I'm having a trust on you. I know you can deliver. You're doing the same thing from these years, so I know you can do the same thing as well. But because I'm the part of the team, I am the scrum master of the team. I'm here to support you to make sure when you have a bunch of tasks to do it, let me know. I will help you to prioritize those things according to the requirement of the organization or the requirement of the client. Rest, everything is, I don't have to put you on any kind of a management stuff, and I will not be monitoring you. That kind of a conversations are really helping, and then these people also understand like this person is here not to manage us. This is here to manage the processes what the company require. So I was a scrum master of the team, but not the scrum master of those people. I'm the scrum master of the process. So my responsibility is to make sure whatever priorities, whatever the roadmap we have for the particular team or for the particular organizations, as a team, we'll just stick to that and we will deliver that. Rest, I don't have to coach them and guide them how they should do it because they are more experienced than me and they can do it. Still, in there are situations and scenarios where one or two peoples they are really doing a different kind of things. They are not up to the mark, up to their experience or roles, what they are playing and what the organization are expecting. Then definitely you have to do a different kind of a rule. How what kind of conversion you will do. So all these things even I will share you. But this is the thing which even I learned with this team. So I didn't get an opportunity to get a good mentor at that time, but I just tried my best. Okay, how I can be play the role as a leader in that particular team. So that's the one experience when I can share with you.
Okay.
Is there any other experience? If not, we can move on to the structure and the topic of the leaders communication. Okay, then let's move to the topic. So what are
Rather,
the
rather I have a lot of questions
mm-hmm.
when things are not working well, as we try to do now somehow with your kind of what the journey. I mean, while working under the senior members, while you acting as a scrum master, at times it happens where they are not willing to share anything. They will do their job, but they don't want to come and report, or they don't want to say anything. But they will also see, okay, this person is no, following up the process as well, which is not verbally said or mentioned, but we get to know that they're following what we are doing. Because I've seen at times, if I have missed one thing, at least they will be like, they will be tagging me, and their my reporting manager showing up, okay, this is being missed, which could have been communicated earlier, like since I'm in the learning phase as well, if na, in my early years. So how to tackle this thing?
Let's do one thing.
I've learned,
Let's
I've learned
first,
the hard way, I
yeah,
would say.
yeah, let's first finish this.
For
What
sure.
kind of styles we can do it? What kind of questions we should ask in specific scenarios? I hope most of these things will be clear with this style of leadership
Sure.
communications. And still, if after that you have a questions, we will definitely discuss and do that, right?
Okay, Chetan. Yeah.
Okay, because I know there are a lot of things and queries which
Mm.
we can continuously ask. So let me just quickly do this. I will share one board. Okay, you can see the board, right? The whiteboard.
Yes.
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 So we will talk about what are the important skills are really required as a coach, right? As a leader. So the first thing which comes, and which you're all aware of these things, right? We will talk about, but no one talk about, everyone talk about the definitions. Now, what are the questions we should ask under these terminologies that we will more focus today? Now, the first thing is, as a leader, is coaching, right? Which everyone heard. A leader should be a good coach, right? What is the meaning of coaching? Like how you can coach a team?
By making them aware of the processes that we are following.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, helping in solving their problem.
Okay. So where is the coaching in this? Solving the problems. Is it
Uh,
is it mentoring or is it coaching?
Mm.
Mentoring, I guess. Means we have already told like what is the process, but if somewhere somebody is getting stuck that time.
See, coaching, the important part in the coaching is empowering. I know my handwriting is very bad. So empowering is the word. So when you're saying you're coaching, you should be empower your team, right? How you should do that? Empower through the collaboration. Now, if you're coaching a team, your focus is not on the problems. Your focus is not on the solutions. Your focus on that particular situations, how you can make your team more confident or motivated so they can solve the problem themselves. Now I'll tell you a couple of questions and then I think it will be more easier, right? The first question
Mm.
is, in a specific scenario, you will ask your team, what are your thoughts on the current process of the project? So what you're doing is you're asking, right, your team member, what are your thoughts on the current progress of the project? Now, with this, what you're adding is you're empowering this question. Is there anything we can do differently to improve it? Now, what here is, the progress is not good, right? This particular team member is not performing or this particular team is not performing. Now, as a leader, how you can coach the team? You should rephrase your question like this. What are your thoughts on the current progress of the project? That means you are not saying you are not performing. You're asking what is their expectations. Are they satisfied with the progress of the project? So that's the one thing, right? The ask, the change of the nature. And then with this, what you're saying, because the answer definitely is we are not performing as expected. That's why you have the conversation, right? Now, what you're doing is with this, you're also adding one thing. Is there anything we can do differently to improve it? Now, what you're doing is you're asking your team, can you just, we know it's not working, but what as a coach, I want you to just give me some more alternative options. If we all know it's not working, this solution A, let's talk about the solution 2. Right? So that's how it's helping. So when you're coaching, your focus now in this particular question, my focus is not on to pointing out the bad progress of the project. My focus is not, okay, I am giving you the solution and you have to implement this. No, I'm just asking two open-ended questions. So when you are coaching a team in these situations, make sure your questions are open-ended questions. Open-ended questions means where you are not expecting and concrete answers, but you're expecting some answers so that your team members will be open up and they will ready to discuss. Now I'll add a couple of more and then it will be more clear. Now in the second scenario, now this is the another open-ended questions. How do you envision the end result of this project? What steps do you think we need to take to achieve that vision? So now you know we are not towards the goal or the roadmap or the timelines what we have, right? But again, you just rephrase. Another way how you can ask the same questions. What challenges or roadblocks do you foresee in this project? And how do you think we can overcome this? Now, in all these questions, as a coach, you are not asking or you're not blaming or you're not saying you are not performing, but you're also saying we are not performing. You're also not expecting you should give me the answer. You're saying we have to figure out and we have to come up with some answers. So the difference from you to we is the coaching. So that's the empowering, which really important when you're coaching. I will quote a couple of more questions and then it will be more clear. And then I will just keep in 1 minute where you can also, if you want to add it. Now, this is another way you can ask the same questions. Are there any innovative ideas or approach you believe could take this project to the next level? Now, with these questions, I'm repeating, are there any innovative ideas or approaches you believe could take this project to the next level? Another thing, what resources or support do you need from the team to excel in your role and contribute effectively to the project? So all these questions are open-ended, right? I'm not asking any exact answers. I'm just giving them, okay, guys, let's do the discussions. Let's explore the different options or opportunities we have. But how you can do that? With these kind of open-ended questions. So that is the coaching, where you are empowering your team. You're not pointing, you're not like giving any kind of instructions to follow, and there is no direct communications. There is all is the discussions. Any questions on this coaching part before moving into the next?
To add, all this, I meaning the coaching part mostly happens during the sprint retrospective.
No, it's your day-to-day routine, right? You know your team is lacking in your sprints delivery. You have a 10 days of sprint, you are on day 5. Now you realize your team is not performing. They are unable to deliver it, right? So you should not
Correct.
wait for the retro. What you will do is you will just do a discussion with the team. Okay, guys, it's very hard to achieve our sprint goal because half of the sprint is already passed. Now only half of the sprint is left. Now, how we can make sure we will at least reach next to our sprint goal or as much as possible near to our sprint goal. So this is the open-ended questions where you're highlighting we are not performing, but you're also encouraging your team. Please give the suggestions. Please speak up. Why we are in the middle of the sprint, 5 days already passed. Why we are not able to deliver what we supposed to deliver in the first 5 days? What kind of issues, roadblocks they have, right? So instead of asking the direct questions, okay, guys, why you are not delivering? What are the issues you are facing? You should be deliver 50%. These are not open-ended questions. So the open-ended questions is, we are not performing. We are in the middle of the sprint. We supposed to finish 50%, but it looks we can't finish the remaining in the next 5 days. So what is your thoughts? How we can try to reach that sprint goal? So that conversation is required, and these conversations you can do according to the situations. Now I'm talking about because the sprint team is not performing, but where there is an incident where the rest of the team is on track, there is only one person is not performing. Right? The same example what Vanjakshi, I just try to pronounce your name very correctly. Vanjakshi, yeah. So the same incident where the whole team is doing, only one person is not performing, right? So you don't have to do these kind of conversations with throughout the team. You have to do these kind of conversations in one-on-one. But you have to do it. You have to just identify where is the issue, and then accordingly you have to move it. Now, in the examples what Vanjakshi gave, we definitely is not qualify as a role of a coaching. That will qualify a different way of style that we will also talk about how you can do it, because that person is not experienced, that person is intern, they are never worked in the professional career, so you can't expect them, okay guys, you are not performing, so how you will perform? Then definitely that person cannot give you the answers. So according to the situations, you have to make sure you're asking, right? So these kind of open-ended questions you can ask where you're the someone who's really been there for, or at least have some experience in that particular area or the field, and after that they are not performing, or a team is not performing, then you should ask these things. Let's move to the next, which is, what is next after coaching? What is this? Now, what is the difference in mentoring and coaching?
Coaching is like you have educated, and mentoring is like while they are working, you keep an eye on their work, whatever you have given training on it, and then if there's some mistake done by them, you can mentor immediately, like a shadow face.
Yes, slightly near to that. Again, in the mentoring, there is another keyword, the important keyword. And with this, how a leader should do the mentoring, that is important part. Now for that, the important part is sharing wisdom and experience. Now, how you will do it? Let's talk about this. How we will, can you give me any examples?
What you are doing to us is mentoring. Like you're sharing experience and giving us this wisdom.
As a leader, like what you can do it? Can you give me any kind of a phrases which we should use? So basically, how you should do it? What you should ask when you're mentoring a team? What you're saying is, you can say, based on my experience, I recommend considering this particular solutions. This is not qualify as a coaching. This is qualify as a mentoring. What you're saying is, I have a certain experience in this field. Now, based on my experience, I think we should consider this. Now, when you're giving these kind of things, what you're doing is you're transforming a sense of wisdom to inspire your team, to accelerate your team's development. And these kind of conversations are really building a trust and respect within the team, where they really, if you really have an experience in that particular field, and then if you are doing these kind of conversations, then they will really listen you. Now, what kind of a questions we should ask,
Yeah.
or what kind of phrases we should, uh, or you will say the statement you should give when you're mentoring a team?
What I do, generally, first I observe whether, means according to the timeline, if they are doing it or if they are able to raise their blockers or things. But when I observe, okay, in this speed or the way, the approach they are following, if this is not going to finish the work on time as expected, so I will try to, in between, I ask them if there is anything, let's connect, we can do it together. And they will just tell also, they say also like, oh no, this thing is not working, that person is not available, this thing. So I just try to connect with them, if and then say like, let's do it together, let's connect in the evening or when, whatever the feasible time. My approach is like this, just do it, like we will do it together, like that.
Yes, that's a great approach. Anyone else want to add any specific statements which boost your team, you can use when you're mentoring the team?
As Sangeeta mentioned, that is one thing where we in such situation, I'll take it. I'll take the initiation, like bringing it on the no, like any task. So we need someone else to guide them as well, coming from the lead who is not available or they are not able to reach out, and they're still sitting on it, waiting for someone to no, connect with them. So yeah, initiating, tagging them, and bringing it up one to one. Yeah, that is one I do.
Okay.
So there are no
I will
delays.
also, I will also give you couple of phrases which you can use when you're mentoring anyone in your team or any specific or the whole team, which really build a relation with you, because these phrases, when you're using, then your team can say, okay, you really have an experience, and that's why you're speaking on behalf of your experience. Like the how should we ask about my experience on the good experience as a leader, right? So how we should answer these kind of things. So these are the couple of phrases which you can use. Like, based on my experience, I recommend considering a more customer centric approach in this situation. So this is my based on my experience. This is a phrase which I use. The another phrase which I can use instead of this: when I was in your position, I found that taking the time on doing the research and then understanding the current market trend and then accordingly doing. Now, what you're doing is you're saying you also have these kind of things. Another phrase which you can use is, one thing I have learned over the years is the importance of XYZ. So this is another phrase where you're just transforming your experience, your learnings to your team. Right?
Hmm.
One more phrase. I have found that maintaining a work-life balance, even in the most demanding times. So again, you're just sharing your experience. Okay, according to my experience, the work-life balance is really important. So if one of your team member, if he's really working till late nights because he is believing in to deliver as soon as possible, that is also not a best examples we are setting. There are certain situations where we have to do it, that we are accepting, but this should not be the trend of each and every day. Right? So those kind of things we will do it.
uh, I
Then,
have a question.
mm-hmm.
Because I mean, my thing is the challenges which I face, like even if we are offering helps, but
Mm-hmm.
I face this situation when somebody is equal, same experience, or somebody is having more experience than me. That time I feel whether I should talk the with this normal tone, like I am just trying to help, or we will do it together, I'm not something like above or some like that, or even whatever the thing, or we should be like, no, I am this position, I should be very strongly and prejudice, no, this should be done. Mostly my approach being like very soft or smooth, that I don't want to like rule this team, I just want to that work should be done. But sometimes I feel like some people don't want to listen, they want to follow their own choices, which not helping them, which later on gives them back. But I feel like, is there something wrong with me which I have to uh, take it in me with me, or how should I lead this situation? That situation I feel most of the time tough.
You know
Because
what is important here in this situation?
yeah, what?
The important part is we have to understand. I have to understand if I'm giving or proposing anything, is that person is really having any interest to listen me? If is it really giving any value to my words, to my inputs? Is that person really required? If someone is having a mindset, okay, I don't listen you, I know we are at the same level, or I'm more senior than you, and you can't help me. If people have these kind of attitudes and these kind of a mindset, then no matter how you're doing it, you can't change that. Now the question is, then what I will do in these situations? Is it really required to guide these people who really don't need any assistance, or if they feel they don't need any assistance? Leave.
As in this situation, because means people will get changed, people get replaced with them, but generally my thought remains like, okay, this team is there, I have to lead it a very good way. But if they are not taking at the right time right decision, or not ready to take help also, later on they got replaced. But that time I feel, was it because of me? Did I mentor it well, or I could have done something good? So that kind of questions comes to me, because that feels like,
See,
am I doing good or not?
it's not about how you are performing and how you're doing. Here the thing is, I want to mentor, I want to coach, but it's really that the other person is really interested to learn from me. That we have to understand.
Yeah.
See, I'm giving this session, right? There are 45 people in this WhatsApp group, and they all joined because they want to participate in this sessions. But every time only 2 and 3 people are just turn up and they're joining. Should I feel bad?
No.
No, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm here because I am sharing what I learned from my experience, and I know when I'm sharing, or when I'm sharing with the people, I'm also learning with their experience. That's my intent. Now I'm every time I'm posting a poll in this WhatsApp group, I'm asking, I'm changing schedule, I'm also giving the options to choose the topics and stuff. But it doesn't mean I'm expecting all 40 should be there in my sessions. Even if there one person is there in the session, that's fine. I can still run the session, right? So that should the attitude you
Yeah.
have when you are thinking you can mentor someone and you can coach someone. Now the thing is, you want to contribute in your team because you have certain experience. Then do it. Then do a open discussions with the team. Whoever is interested, they will definitely come to you and they will say, okay, I know you're talking about a different approach. Now, can you just tell me how we can do it? Now, sometimes there are 10 people, no one come up, that's also fine. Sometimes out of 10, one will also come, that's also fine. You can't expect someone, okay, that person should be learn, otherwise they will be replaced. That's fine. It's their destiny, it's their choices, right? What they want to learn and they want to do it. We can't
Okay.
forcefully mentor people, coach people, right?
Yeah.
Until unless you are a manager and they are reporting to you and it's your responsibility, your team should perform, we can't do that. And if that is the case where you are the all these people are reporting to you, it's your responsibility, they will perform, then you have to choose a different route with different people. Sometimes some people they only need coaching attitude, sometimes some people they need mentoring attitude, sometimes some people they need the another, like directing or delegating, which is another two things which I'm just talking about in the next few minutes. So you have to choose your audience, and according to your audience, you have to give this. You can't put mentoring where the coaching is required, or you can't put directing where the mentoring is required. So you have to understand what is the difference, and then accordingly you have to choose.
Okay.
Um, to add to such situation where I have seen where my he's senior to me, and as per his experience, but we are being a scrum master or manager. So at times I speak to them in a way like, okay, these are the timelines, and hope no, we can finish it before it no, as needed, and we can move these things ahead, or we can proceed no, with whatever could be a release or testing. No, you can deploy it. So hope we are in time. We are following the timelines. Just as a reminder, I will be no, I'll mention them. Or this is something no, I think no, we can speak about. Do we need this? Even you can suggest me something we need to add to this process or something. That's how I take it up, so that they are not offended as well, nor am I in awkward situation. Yeah.
See, I can give couple of more phrases which you can use it. And this phrase really suits in the example where Vanjakshi says about the interns, right? So when you are mentoring, you can use a phrase like, throughout my career, I have realized the importance of continuous learning. Now stay curious, keep updating your skills, and never stop growing. These things are really help me, and that's why I am right now at this time. This is what I'm doing, and I'm just sharing with you. And I think if you're also investing the equal amount on your learnings, right, then you will also grow with the time. So what you're doing is you're just converting your learnings, your experience, and saying, okay, guys, if you will do it, definitely you can also do it like how I'm doing now, right? So that's how you can do it. So these are the things which comes under the mentoring. Now let's move, because we are having very limited time. The next one, which is really required, and sometimes, which is directing. Okay. What is your understanding of directing?
At times the team feels lost. They are doing the work, but it's not showing any productivity or efficiency.
So
And
what
then
they
we
need?
so they need direction in that. Sorry. So they need is direction, saying that, okay, this is our shared goals. This is your purpose. This is what outcome we need. This is expected.
Yes. And we are calling it clear guidance.
Yeah.
And immediate actions. Now, we can't create immediate actions and guidance in coaching and mentoring, but there are certain situations where this directing is required, right? Now, whenever in situations that directing is required, this clear guidance is these keywords are really important. Clear guidance and immediate actions. You have to create immediate actions if you really want to give some kind of a directions. Now, what kind of examples we can put it? Because I know it's not look like in a leadership style, but sometimes this is also required. I will give you a couple of examples. Okay. And then if you want, you can also add it. Now, first example, and this is, I need you to finalize the report by end of the day today and send it to the entire team. Now, what it is, this is a clear direction. Now, what I'm expecting here is, I am expecting we will communicate something before to the end of the day. So how will do it? I will ask one of the team member, I need you to finalize the report by end of the day and send it to the entire team. So the entire team is aware of. Now, there are certain situations where these kind of direct instructions are required, where you know what actions we have to do it. I will phrase a couple of more. This is another one. Please arrange a meeting with the marketing team first thing tomorrow morning to discuss our new strategies. Now, take another one. I would like you to call the client and confirm our meeting for next week. Please review the budget proposal and provide your feedback by noon tomorrow. What we are doing is, we are fixing the time by when we have to finish this action item. Right? Now, there are certain situations where this directing is also required. The reason why I need this by end of the date by noon tomorrow, might be because I have a meeting after that. So if I will not get this new report, I can't do the next meeting. So there are certain situations where we have to do this. You might be having a sprint planning tomorrow, and before that you have to finish your sprint and you have to generate the sprint data. So you are agile coach and you're asking your scrum masters, guys, make sure you will finish your reporting, your final output of the results, and then we will talk about, we just send it to the entire team. What you're doing is you're just instructing them what is required. Now, why this is required before end of the day today? Because tomorrow we might have a dependent meetings. So if we have these kind of things, then these kind of directing approach is really required, and there is no harm of doing it. So it's right. So this is another approach which really required as a leader is the directing, but we can't mix this with the others. Take another one. Please prepare a presentation on our quarterly performance for the board meeting next week. So now we know we have a board meeting next week. So I'm asking my team to just prepare a quarterly performance report. Now I can't say, okay, here I can use the mentoring and the coaching phrases. I can't say, okay, in my past, whenever I have a board meeting, I will just prepare a presentation and then I will present it. No, we need a concrete answers, actions here. So I can't use my experience. What I really expecting from my team is to just make sure this is the next dependent event we have. So before that dependent event, we will resolve all those dependencies. So sometimes this directing is also required, but here in this directing, we also need the important part in the commission is your tone, how you are instructing your team to do it. You should not be harsh. You should not be too loud. You should be instructing with a soft voice. You should also give a sense of urgency, like why you need it by today, end of the day, why you need it tomorrow, why you are expecting to finish within this week. So you have to share the team the urgency as well, because if you're sharing the urgency and the dependencies, then they will also understand. Then they will not take it as a direct command. They will say this is the need. This action item is really need of the team, because we have to unblock this next event. So whenever you are using these kind of phrases, make sure you're also highlighting the dependencies, why you're expecting this. If you're one of the team member is not performing, that's why you will say, okay, these are the items you have to finish this by end of this week, and next Monday we are reviewing it. So what you're doing is you are giving a direct action items to the person, like you are not performing. I set up a review meeting next Monday, but before that, I want to give a 1 week of time. Just finish these action items. So this is the another important part, right? Which is comes as a directing. Now, anyone else want to add any experience or examples in the directing?
Yeah, if I have my team needs to close certain things well in time so that the
Mhm.
next team can begin well in development, I usually say the team, let's have it closed today, so that we can just deploy the things and we can start on the testing. Or it could be if someone is sick or not available for the day, but it's urgent that if someone can take it up. So that time also we have to maintain a tone as well as seek help from no, like whoever is available. We have to push them that this, if you can take it, if they can take it and complete as well, if they can close their tasks earlier and take this, since it's the situation is like that. So
Yes.
that will be helpful.
Yeah.
Or
Now,
no,
this particular scenario is lying between the next skill of a leader and the directing. One is the directing, where you have the clear guidance and the actions. The next one is delegations. What is the meaning of delegations? What is the role? I mean, what's the definition of this word of delegation?
to give away a task and get it done
Mm-hmm.
in a right way.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Allow your team to speak and give their inputs.
No,
Trust,
delegation means
trusting.
you're transferring something to your team. That is delegation, right?
Yeah, in that communication, we are discussing together, giving my points and letting them also.
So here the important keyword is this one: fostering autonomy and trust. Now, how delegation is have a relation with the trust? That depends on how you are delegating your work. So the way your tone, your words, that is playing a role. Now, how you should delegate as a leader, because you are a leader of a team, how you should delegate something to your teammates, you have to do that. So there are a couple of examples which I will tell you, and then you will also add if you have something. This is one example. I trust your judgment on this. Please take the lead on the project and keep me updated on the progress. Now, here, what you're doing is you're giving us some certain freedom, because, and what you're saying is you have a trust on this particular team. You have, so you don't have to mentoring, you don't have to give any direct actions. You're just telling them, okay, you are the leader, and now you have to deliver it. So that is the delegation. There is different ways, different phases. I can tell you a couple of more. You have a good understanding of our client needs. I would like you to handle the client meeting next week. Now, what you're doing is you can also do that, but you're empowering your team member, because you are saying they are capable. So how you can do that? Okay, in the next client meeting, you will be take a lead. I will be there to support you, but I want you to take the lead. That is another style of delegations. Another example. I believe you are the best person to tackle this challenge. Please come up with a plan and let's review it together. Now, what you're saying is we have a certain situations, we have to come up with the solutions, and I know I have a trust on you. Just think how you can work on this particular problem, and then we will discuss, and then we'll align together. So when you're delegating something, what you're doing is you have to do all these works, but what you're doing is you're delegating these work to your team, but you're doing it to make them, to show them you are really having, you don't have any trust issues with the team, you really think that team member is capable. So this is a kind of a indirect feedback. So delegation comes, the way of delegation comes the indirect feedback. Now I will tell you the another statements which is not qualify as a communication style of a leader, but this is also in a delegation. Okay, I have too much work in my bucket, and I can see you have some bandwidth. Please do it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm not saying I think you can do it. What I'm saying is I'm having too much work. I can't deliver it. So, and I'm thinking you have a lot of free time. That's why I'm giving it to you. Now, the words, the intent, the way how you communicate, that is totally different, and they both are delegations. But how you will do the communication, that is important. Another way, another phrase is, I'm delegating the budget planning to you. Please prepare a draft and we can review it. Now you have to do the budget planning, but what you did is you just gave it to someone else. And then because you are responsible, you also put a review on it. That is also in a delegation. So sometimes delegation is also equally important, but how you're delegating your work, that skill you have to learn as a leader. So make sure your team member are not offended. Your team member will not feel you think they don't have a work. Why you're delegating the work? Because you think they are capable and they can do it better. So that this message should be transformed when you're delegating the work. Okay, so these are the 4 important styles which we require when we are doing this. What was the first one?
Coaching.
Coaching. What is the important word in coaching?
Empowering.
Empowering. Yes. When you're doing the coaching, you make sure you empower your team. Second thing is mentoring. What is important in mentoring? How you can do a mentoring as a leader?
Sharing wisdom and experience.
Yes. What is the third one?
Directing.
And how you can do that? What is?
Clear guidance and immediate action.
Yes. And the last one?
Delegation.
And how you can do the delegation?
By telling that we have trust and we really feel that person is capable enough and I think they are the best person, and then we are asking them to do it or not. I mean, just giving the freedom, not saying in a way, okay, I have a work and that's why I'm not doing, or you just do it. So that if we are saying in that way, I think I believe on you, you can do it, so they will give their best. But if we just give it as a work, then that time they might not give that much of interest as well. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is important. See, now, is it not required you have to follow these kind of styles when you are really a leader, when you really have a team to manage? No. Even when you are a part of a team, when if you are following these same approaches, when you with your subordinates, with your senior team members, that will also work. Sometimes you also have to delegate the work to your manager, to your subordinate. Sometimes you will also have to share some experience what you had in situations where is your subordinates, they might be having a different kind of expectations. I will give you example. We were discussing one of the stories, and because I worked on that kind of a work in the past, and I know that kind of work we can't deliver in less than 2 weeks. But in the other side, the team members, they are saying it's a very small thing, we can deliver in 2 days. And we were doing a very high level estimations. Right? Now, because I'm not working in a technical background, but I worked in the past in the technical background. Because of my experience, I'm telling them, guys, I worked the similar thing in my past, and I know it's not easy to deliver in 2 days. This is really required minimum a week or two to deliver it. What I'm doing is I'm saying, please rethink. So what I'm doing, I'm just sharing my experience. And I'm not saying we can't do it in 2 days, but what I'm saying is I already worked in the past, and according to my experience, it's not easy task. We definitely need a week to do it. Please reconsider your estimates. Please review it. Whatever the action items you have to do it, what are the acceptance criteria you have to read it, just go and spend one more time, and then you can give it another estimations. So sometimes these kind of things are also required, where same things required when you are doing your managers. Like I had a discussion with my program managers on the same thing. We already built a mobile app. Now we are planning to build a website for the same. And then we will say, because everything is 90% things will be reused, only the 10% work is required. And according to 10%, we will say, okay, we need X amount of the QA work. But I say it's not about because we have to do 10% of work. Here, the important thing is, because now we are moving from mobile to websites. Now, mobile, you have to use only in iOS and Android. You have to only test on 2 versions. But in the website, you have to test in multiple browsers. Now, you don't know what is really the customer which they're using. They might be using Safari, they might be using Chrome, they might be using Edge, they might be using Opera or Internet Explorer, right? Firefox. So we have to test this particular thing in all these areas. Now, what I'm giving is, according to my managers or my program managers, he thinks it's just a 10% of change, so it will take X amount of QA. But when I share my experience, then he will also align. He say, yeah, then I think we need more capacity to test these things, because we have to test multiple browsers. We have to test multiple versions of the browsers as well, because few people, they are not updating their browsers on every week or every month. Someone might be updated the Chrome a year back. Now you might be using a different versions. So our app should work on that as well, right? Our website should not break. So what kind of a different versions we are supporting, all these things. Where I learned, because I was coming from the QA background, I did all these things in the past. So I just shared my experience, and now because I shared my experience, I convinced my program manager as well. So sometimes you don't have, it's not required all these skills needed to just manage a team. No, the skills are needed to do a conversation with your senior management's leadership, could be a CEO of the company. No, you never knows. So these skills are really important for each and everyone, and make it as your personal habits, not as only the professional thing. Because sometimes you have to do these things in your personal life as well, where you are doing a conversation with your parents, with your siblings, with your relatives. So you have situations where you have to convince them, or you have to share your experience so that they can also, if you did something, you learn from your experience, you will also share them so that they will not face the similar kind of situations in their future, right? So same things we can use in our personal as well. With this, we are concluding. Anyone have any questions, comment? All good? Okay, then thank you for joining on weekend. Okay.
Thank you, Chetan. Yeah.
Thank you, Chetan, for hosting such a nice session for us. It's an eye opener for us, and for all the communication styles that we have learned today. Thank
Okay.
you.
See you
Bye.
in the next session. Bye bye.
Thank you.